Hello, this is Robert Dados from Kanga and this is the 22nd episode of Kanga Crypto News. Now today we have some very interesting topics to discuss. Is Ethereum going to skyrocket? Is Kamala Harris still anti-crypto? Did China classify crypto transactions as money laundering? Are we as society ready for Bitcoin's potential? Is it possible to tokenize a $2.5 million chapel? Focus and watch until the end. Now, before we start, remember that all information in Kanga Crypto News is gathered by very experienced Kanga analysts, and remember, we are not investment advisors. Remember also to subscribe this channel, to like and click the little bell so that you are up to date with all the crypto information. Now, let's do it. Let's start with Ethereum because there are very significant signals that show that Ethereum may actually in the nearest future skyrocket. Now, the first signal is the transactional fees. Ethereum's gas fees plummeted to a 5-year low earlier this week, with some attributing the drop to users and applications migrating to trendier blockchains. A steep drop in fees paid to transact on Ethereum could spell a bullish sign for the network's underlying Ether tokens. One analyst said, citing historical data, every time Ethereum gas fees drop to rock bottom has often signaled price bottom in the mid-term. Ryan Lee, chief analyst at BitCat Research in Friday note to CoinDesk, ETH prices tend to strongly rebound after this cycle, and when this moment coincides with an interest rate cut cycle, the market's wealth effect is full of possibilities. Gas refers to the necessary cost a user must pay to perform a transaction on the network. Fees dipped as low as 0.6 gwei, that's a unit of gas, earlier this week, with low priority transactions costing only 1 gwei or lower, a rare occurrence in recent years. The fees represent a more than 95% drop from the 83.1 gwei levels in March, when the network saw a spike in activity. Lack of demand for Ethereum block space and a preference for using applications on other blockchains has likely led to the drop in fees, Lee said. The drop in Ethereum's gas fee prices to a 5-year low can be attributed to the migration of meme season and dApp interactions to other faster and cheaper blockchains like Solana and Layer 2, as well as the long-awaited Denkan upgrade that had improved the network efficiency and therefore reduced the gas fees, he explained. Denkan refers to two major updates from March that changed how transactions were processed and validated on the Ethereum network. Since July, Solana-based applications Pump has pocketed more fees than the entire Ethereum network in a single 24-hour period on a few occasions, most recently on August 13th. Meanwhile, the lower amount of Ether being burned due to lower fees means that the token's supply has begun to increase. Data shows that nearly 16,000 Ethereum, or nearly $42 million at current prices, was added to Ether's total supply over the past week, pushing supply on track to grow 0.7% this year. Now, the second important signal that may increase the value on Ethereum is a collaboration between Apple NFC and Circle. Now, this deal, which brings USD coin, USDC, into Apple's NFC's ecosystem, has caught the crypto world's attention. Investors are watching closely to see how this might boost Ethereum's value and use. This collaboration could be a turning point for the crypto market. This partnership is a big step for crypto adoption. USDC, which runs on Ethereum, will be part of Apple's payment system. This could introduce millions to blockchain and increase demand for ETH. The collaboration might also inspire other tech giants to explore similar partnerships. More USDC use through Apple NFC could mean more activity on Ethereum's network. This might lead to higher gas fees, but could also speed up work on scaling solutions. The deal might spark new ideas in the Ethereum world. Developers are likely to explore new applications and improvements. Many see this partnership as good for ETH. More USDC use and big investor interest could boost ETH demand. Some think this could push ETH to new highs. The potential for growth is significant. This amazing deal could and will probably attract big investors. This will bolster the ETH market. That said, crypto markets can change quickly. This applies even more considering the new laws that are being created. Investors should stay informed and be prepared for changes. Trump's victory in the upcoming election for the United States of America president is not so sure. Kamala Harris, that at this moment is not a fan of cryptocurrencies, has a very high support from the United States society. While the Republican platform addresses the issue of cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, the Democratic Party's latest platform remains silent on the matter. Adding to the buzz, there are whispers that Kamala Harris's campaign might be eyeing Gary Gensler, the current head of the US Securities and Exchange Commission, for the role of Treasury Secretary. Kamala Harris's rumored crypto reset appears to be off the table, at least if the Democratic Party's official platform for the Democratic National Convention, the DNC, is anything to go by. The document skips over any mention of blockchain technology, Bitcoin, Ethereum, crypto assets, or anything linked to the digital currency space. It only briefly addresses technology and its innovations, focusing mostly on the party's Housing Innovation Fund and climate change. The platform touches on artificial intelligence, AI, acknowledging its extraordinary potential, but emphasizing the risks, nothing that AI could lead to peril. It further warns that AI is being used to clone voices, commit fraud, institutionalize bias, and undermine democracy. Additionally, a questionable report suggests that if Harris becomes the US president, she might appoint Gary Gensler as Treasury Secretary. Gensler and the current SEC haven't been favorites in the crypto industry, as the securities regulator has been taking an enforcement-heavy approach. Between Gensler's SEC and the Biden administration, the Federal Reserve, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, FDIC, and the Treasury, including Operation Choke Point 2.0, many crypto veterans doubt Harris will change the Democrats' stance on cryptocurrencies. Skepticism also surrounds the source of the Gensler news, originating from the Washington Reporter. Journalist David Morris commented, quote, "So after some looking, the Washington Reporter is not a real news organization. It's run by GOP operatives. The author of the piece is currently running for Congress. This isn't a news story, it's a political smear." End quote, he added. Despite doubts about the Washington Reporter's story, the Gensler rumors blazed across social media, igniting a storm of comments and reactions. Is there anyone beyond Kamala Harris that is not pro-crypto? Of course. Well, it's not a very big surprise for anyone that the China government is one of the parties. It appears that China classifies crypto transactions as money laundering in update to AML law. On Monday, Chinese authorities explicitly recognized virtual asset transactions as a method of money laundering, marking the first instance in the country that such a move has been made towards the asset class. The Supreme People's Court and the Supreme People's Procuratorate, the country's highest judicial bodies, jointly announced the changes during a press conference. The measures expected to take effect on Tuesday are part of broader efforts aimed at tightening anti-money laundering laws, including specifically targeting the use of crypto in illicit financial activities. The new legal interpretation classifies virtual asset transactions, including those conducted through crypto exchanges, as acts that cover up and conceal the source and nature of the proceeds of crime. Chinese authorities will now consider laundering amounts over 5 million yuan or causing losses of more than 2.5 million yuan as serious offenses under the law. The thresholds ensure that large-scale money laundering operations face stricter legal security and harsher penalties. If convicted and sentenced to fixed-term imprisonment of up to 5 years, or if given criminal detention, individuals face a fine of no less than 10,000 yuan. For sentences ranging from 5 to 10 years, the individual will be fined at least 200,000 yuan in addition to their imprisonment. Many people have speculated what cryptocurrency will be the third accepted as a spot ETF. Solana was definitely on the list. Maybe in the future that's gonna happen, but this isn't the time. It appears that the US SEC turned down the applications on behalf of two prospective Solana ETF issuers, according to a well-placed source. The US Securities and Exchange Commission rejected Cboe BZX 19B#4 filings for two prospective spot Solana ETFs, according to a source familiar with the situation. As a result, they were withdrawn from the Cboe website. This followed conversations between the SEC and issuers over its concerns that Solana should be regarded as a security, as the block previously reported, citing a different source. This view matches what the SEC has asserted in court filings in multiple cases. The 19B#4 filings are filled by exchanges, in this case the Cboe on behalf of issuers. If placed in the Federal Register, they start the clock on the SEC's approval process. The other important form, the S1 registration statement, is filled by issuers and doesn't result in any deadlines. However, since the SEC rejected the 19B#4 forms, they never made it to the Federal Register and haven't started the process toward a potential approval or denial. Two issuers are currently vying for a Solana ETF, 21 shares, and Van Eck. It appears that 21 shares has stood back on its S1 form, as it no longer appears in search results on the SEC's filling system. Edgar Van Eck's S1 form remains there, and its head of research, Matthew Siegel, says it remains in play. Even though the 19B#4 rejections were a setback, they could be refilled or amended to include stronger language arguing that Solana is not a security in the near future. We are unable to comment on the regulatory process at this time. We remain committed to expanding investor access to cryptocurrencies in the US market and around the world, said Audrey Beloff, head of communications at 21 Shares. Van Eck, Cboe and the SEC did not respond immediately to a request for comment. There are quite a few news with negative sentiment, right? Let's take a look at the current situation. There is a correct that is slightly longer than expected. The market wants to go to higher levels, but apparently it can't. There is fear. Well, what if as society we are not ready for cryptocurrencies going higher and higher and therefore it's not gonna happen? Well, let's listen about what the PayPal co-founder Peter Thiel has to say. In a recent appearance on the Joe Rogan's Experience show, PayPal co-founder Peter Thiel discussed about Bitcoin, stating that despite its immense potential, society is not fully equipped to manage its effects. Thiel's remarks have sparked a lot of discussion among people who are closely following how cryptocurrency is developing and its influence on the world system. Thiel, a pioneer in finance, emphasized that Bitcoin signifies more than a passing trend. It represents a significant shift in how financial transactions could be carried out in the future. Despite recognizing Bitcoin's power, he expressed concerns about society and economic institutions needing to grasp this transformative shift fully. He warned that Bitcoin's rapid growth might outspace readiness, leading to challenges. Thiel highlighted Bitcoin's impact and suggested that its rapid rise could surpass society's ability to adjust effectively. He pointed out a gap in understanding. People are eager to adopt Bitcoin without comprehending its broader consequences. This lack of preparedness could pose risks as Bitcoin becomes more integrated into systems. Moreover, Thiel raised doubts about whether current regulatory frameworks and financial institutions are capable of managing Bitcoin's potential. He mentioned that the current systems might face challenges in keeping up with Bitcoin's progress, potentially leading to obstacles as Bitcoin pushes against financial practices. Thiel's statements suggest that while Bitcoin has the power to transform, it also brings hurdles that need addressing for its integration into the global financial landscape. Thiel's remarks highlight the necessity of understanding Bitcoin's role in shaping future finance. He proposed that proactive steps should be taken as Bitcoin's impact expands to tackle risks and ensure a shift towards an economy driven by cryptocurrencies. Peter Thiel's recent appearance on the Joe Rogan Experience has sparked renewed discussions about what lies for Bitcoin. His alerts regarding society's readiness to navigate through Bitcoin's act as a crucial prompt for governments, institutions, and the public to prepare for forthcoming changes. Can you tokenize everything? Another border has actually been shifted. There is a church group in Colorado that decided to tokenize a chapel worth $2.5 million. A network of affiliated church groups called the Colorado House of Prayer has tokenized its main chapel in an effort to purchase the $2.5 million building. The pastor heading the project, Blake Bush, said he was compelled by a higher power to use blockchain technology as a tool for advancing the group's mission. According to a report from Forbes, Bush's congregation and other church groups had been renting the building from its owner, a local business person who also owns a car dealership. The 11,457 square foot building called Old Stone Church, due to its stone exterior, was purchased by its current owner in 2022 at a cost of $2.2 million. Reportedly, Bush and the Colorado House of Prayer group intend to purchase the building for $2.5 million. Bush said he came up with the idea of tokenizing the building, putting it on the blockchain as a digital asset that can be split into shares. After a spiritual experience, I heard the Lord say tokenize the building, Bush told Forbes later during that he had been praying for this for years and that God had told him to go get my house. In order to accomplish his holy mission, Bush and the group created Stone Coin, a digital asset used to raise money for the purchase of Old Stone Church. The coin is tied to real estate token created by Tokens and running on the Polymesh private blockchain. Like any tokenization project, the result will depend on the amount of positive token flow and reactive value. The project is reportedly seeking investors after having raised about half of its goal. In the future, the token's board, which includes Bush and other religious leaders, as well as the mayor of nearby town, plans to open up token sales to non-parishioners. While this could potentially put the digital asset ownership at risk of an outsider takeover, Bush doesn't appear to be too concerned about that. When presented with the notion that, for example, Satanists could end up making a run on the church's tokens, Bush quipped that he'd be grateful. Let's introduce you to Jesus. Now, this was the 22nd episode of Kanga Crypto News. More is coming soon. Remember to give us a sub and thumbs up. Thanks to this, you will be up to date with what's new in the crypto world. Take care, and I will see you in the next episode.
We are Kanga, beyond crypto.